good. I would say every day everything is starting to slow down a little bit more and more. Overall, it's been a good time. The college football to me is college football. You know, if you can play ball, you can play ball. So my biggest thing has just been making sure that I got the X's and O's part down. So
you noticed a difference in speed or whatever going against this offense versus what you were used to?
So I would say that the biggest difference isn't necessarily the speed; it's the depth of the speed. Like it's not just 1A or 1 and 2s that's fast. It's 1 to 7 that all can move and move really well. So that's probably the biggest difference. Is just the depth itself.
Coach Wayne was talking the other day about when they recruited you, it wasn't all just about we think you're really good. It was like we want you to work on these areas. What are those areas you're kind of focused on?
So I think my biggest thing, and when I put my name in the portal originally, you know, having a conversation with Coach White and Coach Stoops, for me my biggest thing was just my weight. So coming here, I've spent a lot of time over the last couple of months. I put on about 15 pounds since I've been here. So just that's been my main focus, is just being physically imposing, I should say.
What kind of comfort level was it having Marcus already here? And how did you help you in the process?
It was good. Me and Marcus have had conversations about potentially being teammates. So again, I should say. So it was pretty good, and then him being here for my visit. Marcus is somebody that, you know, at Northern, when I was in high school, he was my host on my official visit and stuff like that. So having his opinion on everybody, and, you know, him telling me when he was in the portal, he made the decision to come here, and he had, you know, things that were listed to him that said, you know, if you come and handle your business, you know, we'll be a man of our word and do this. And, you know, if he's confident that that's happened to him, I was confident that will happen to me, and it has so far. So.
Is your role in this defense similar or different than what you were used to?
It's a little bit similar. You know, every defense is a little bit different, a lot of different nuances. But for the overall, you know, just everything is pretty much the same.
Good fit then, comfort level.
Yeah,
does that help you kind of get into the fray quickly?
So I'll say that the biggest difference is just the actual structure of the defense. You know, we run a 3-4 here compared to NIU. We run a 4-2 with a nickel at all times. So just, you know, learning how we do our movements and stuff with our outside linebackers and stuff like that. That was a little bit of a transaction that, or not a transaction, but a transition I needed to make. But I think over time, the transition has been smoother and smoother and smoother.
You mentioned going from 4-3 to 3-4. Mm-hmm. What are the biggest differences in the responsibilities you got in that regard, or is there not much?
Honestly, I think that it makes it a lot harder on the D line, but it makes my job pretty much easier than what it was before. You know, you learn the schematics of the defense, and you know that you're going to be responsible for so many different things. So I would say that there isn't too much of a similarities, but it makes the defense so much more difficult for offenses to read.
Has there been anybody that kind of helped you with the transition you were talking about, kind of taking you under their wing and guided you through that?
I wouldn't say, you know, I've maybe taken under the wing isn't the right word, but I've definitely felt a lot of love for everybody in my room. You know, there's nobody in my room that has made me feel like, you know, we don't want you here, or if I needed help with a certain thing, they're not hesitant to help me at anything. So.
Brad White's had a lot of success with guys at your spot. He's known for his expertise there. How much have you been able to learn from him in a short time?
Good. I mean, not good, but a lot. That was one of the main things that, you know, drew my interest here too. Is once I first met Brad and Coach White, I should say. Once I first met Coach White, and you know, we got to talking X's and O's. It was a lot that I felt like could help me out and become a better football player. So.
How do you feel the pass rush is progressing? And just for you specifically and the rest of the room?
So, you know, I think we do a pretty good job as a unit, you know, in that area. I feel like for me, my biggest strength is probably going to be my length. So I always try to focus on using that and putting that tool in my tool belt.
So at linebacker, is there any difference in what they asked you to do at Northern Illinois and what you do, or what you're doing here at Kentucky? Whether physicality, position-wise, or? So,
yeah, I am playing a different position. At NIU, I play Will. Here, I play Mike. Okay. So that's probably the biggest difference. But other than that, I feel like inside linebacker is a pretty universal position, you know. So, you know, a lot of my keys are the same. There's a lot of things that I can carry over from my time at Northern that helped me out a lot here. So.
Okay. Everybody good? What's your coverage skills like?
I think I'm pretty good in coverage, you know, but I hate to brag on myself. I'd rather just show you on Saturdays.
Yeah. you get a pretty good test in that regard because you got Daveren who transferred in here, and then there's some guys like out of the backfield that can really catch it, tight ends. What's that like every day facing those guys?
Oh man, it's good. It's competitive. You know, that was a big thing for me is competition. So I'm enjoying all the competition that I'm getting from the backs, from the tight ends, from slots if I ever have to, take a slot vertical or anything like that. So it's just been a really good time competing with everybody on that offense.
Isaiah Cummings creates mismatches, and supposedly he said he brought somebody bad Saturday and they sent him out with the DB.
Yeah, so Isaiah, he's a little tricky because he's not just your normal tight end. He's good at blocking, but he's also quick enough to beat most DBs. So having that matchup, I feel like prepares me a lot for not only tight ends here, but tight ends that I'm going to face week in and week out.
When you were getting recruited out of high school, were there schools maybe like you at safety because of your size and coverage ability, or was it linebacker all the way when you were getting recruited?
It was. So I played linebacker in high school, so I've always felt comfortable in the box. I've always wanted to play in the box, but there were a few schools that did want to transition my position, but it just wasn't something that I was really looking forward to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you're getting recruited, how big was it to have Marcus Cox here?
It was a pretty important piece. I'll say it was an important piece in the fact that Marcus is somebody that I have a lot of respect for as not only a football player but as a person. Marcus is maybe 4 years older than me. So Marcus was my host on my official visit when I was in high school. Okay. We built a great relationship while we were at NIU, and then him coming here and when I got the opportunity to come here, him getting in my ear, like, everything that they have given, or not given me, but everything that they have said to me has come true as long as, I uphold my end too. So, getting that opportunity to, hear Marcus' side of everything, it did play a lot because it speaks to the character of the guys that run the program.
Now that you've been through the process of the transfer portal, if a guy came to you next year and was like, ask for some advice, what would you say about going through that process? What do you need to look for when you're in that?
In what aspect?
Just being recruited. Like, what are you looking for as a player? What are you looking for to find?
Yeah, I feel like it's different for everybody. For me, my biggest thing was, I had a really good career at NIU, but I don't feel like I touched my ceiling at all. Okay. So my biggest thing was to get developed to that next level. A big thing for me was the resources that I had at Northern. I love Northern. I love the time I spent there, but the resources that I had there compared to other places aren't going to be the same. So weight, I needed to put weight on. I've come here and I've done that. So it just depends on what you're looking for. It's different for everybody.
Interesting relationship with you and Marcus. Being that you're playing positions that every day. You're coming out and you're probably banging heads a lot. What does that speak to, kind of the chemistry you guys have, that you can go to war out here and still be as tight as you are?
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming for that. I know my freshman year when we were at Northern together, it was a lot of days where I wanted to put him in a headlock or something like that. So, it just took me time. I guess Marcus, was older than me, so he was, whenever I was upset, he would just laugh it off. And then, I grew up, started competing at a lot higher level than I was when I was a freshman, and then, it's been history since.
Daveren, what's impressed you most about Trevin, just since you've gotten to know him, and he's obviously had some success?
Yeah. I think for me,